New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Friday morning. It's 7 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for Ministers Talking Shit. And today we have a special broadcast all the way from Unity Village and the affiliated New Thought Network summer retreat. To my left, we have a couple of regulars on the network and, somebody who's not all that regular on the network, that is. So to my left, Reverend Dr. PJ Stanley, part of the Real Talk Sisters. Tuesday afternoons, I know when the show is. It's at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays Mountain Time. And to her left, Reverend Kim Andrews, also part of the Real Talk Sisters. And to my far left, Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller, who we're working on getting on the network. I promise you that. So it's part of it. There we go. So thanks for joining us. We're here to talk about the stuff that's going on in the world and stuff that might be important to you as well. And dear ones, I'd love to start the conversation this morning. This community, affiliated New Thought community, over 100 people sat here Wednesday praying for Florida. And my understanding is that the eye wall collapsed on making landfall. It was almost immediately downgraded to a Category 3, which is still a heck of a storm. But I saw a lot of posts and a lot of people talking about they didn't get hit. They missed the big, right? It didn't have as much destructive power as a lot of people were anticipating. My perspective is this still really points to a bigger concern around around climate change, and whether we call it global warming or climate change or just the oceans are getting hot, folks. And I'd love to hear a little bit of your ideas. What do we do from here when it comes to the world of climate change?
So essentially it is, I like that you said, what do we do? Because it's a global issue. Everybody's affected by the warming, by the change of climate. Waters are rising, ice is melting. Everybody's affected, and whether that what was going on in Florida went to a 3, a 5, or a 1 doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that we have a lot of people out of homes. We have a lot of people that have lost their homes that need all kinds of help. Which of course we raise money for that, because that's what we do. We're not just sitting here praising the Lord and passing the peanuts. We actually are doing stuff to try to help other people. So we help each other, we tithe, and we send some money down there, and we're consistently doing that. That's what we all need to do. So what are all of us doing about it? And part of the thing is because it feels so big, we don't really know what to do. Well, do what you can do. I know of a couple who, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name of their website, but who was completely affected. Their business was wiped out. And so we are buying some of their inventory just to help them have some money right now. So that's just one thing I can do. I can buy some inventory and pass it out to friends. Think about that. What can you do right now to help? What would you want someone to do for you right now? If you're down there without water, without gas, or your houses, the windows are missing, your car is flooded, you can't get where you want to go, what would you want someone to help you with?
So I think I come at this from a much different perspective, because my overall concern of my calling is to help bring peace to the planet by starting with each individual, that each of us cultivates inner peace in our lives. And through that, we affect the global consciousness of peace. So I go back to, I think it was Michael Beckwith who said, everything in the news is a prayer request. And so I think of hurricanes, tornadoes, conflict, war, anything that goes on in the world. And I think I can bring my positive, loving, peaceful consciousness to this particular issue. And so I don't really separate it out from everything. I pay attention to the science. I pay attention to what people are saying. And then I just go immediately into prayer and what is my consciousness about this? Can I hold a consciousness of peace for these people affected by this hurricane at this time? And what does it mean? So I try not to go into fear. I don't listen too much. I may look at the news to see what's happening, but I don't let myself get caught up in it. And I just try to regulate myself. What is my consciousness? What's in my heart? How can I affirm something good, something positive, something prosperity, peace, calm, patience for the people who are involved in all of this? And I stay there, but I stay there with most issues. Pay attention. And I very much love in scripture thinking about being in the world, but not of it. And maintaining my inner calm, because consciousness does matter. It does matter. And so if I can take care of my consciousness, then I am affecting the world and everything. There's nothing small. So even us reframing something, us talking about something, us praying about something, just holding space for something, we can just be silent and be powerful and be impactful. And I stay there. So usually my calling is to just get quiet. Just to get quiet and go within, and by that, affect the world.
I love both of those perspectives. That is just glorious. And I came into New Thought as an environmental futurist, assessing the long-term impacts of current actions. And so having done that, we were writing papers when I was in school. I was a part of teams writing papers on, the impacts of increased carbon 50 years from now. So we knew these big storms are coming all of my life. And then I discovered Emma Hopkins. And Emma Curtis Hopkins, the teacher of teachers, tells us that our environments change as our consciousness change. Our community will become a wilderness if we are not in our awareness of the divine. And as we are aware of the presence of the good that is the divine, then our community becomes this thriving heaven on earth. And so knowing that, as an environmental activist and futurist, I'm looking at global climate change and I'm going, we're being called to bring back heaven on earth. The planet is moving in that direction and is saying, wake up, everybody. And so I went up to Reverend Jerry on Tuesday and I said, some of us have moved storms with prayer. Maybe we could do that as a group. And I was so glad when he actually did it. Because when we are in the consciousness of heaven on earth, the earth responds because there is no separation. There is no separation. What I am seeing out there is what's happening in here. So I love that you go into peace. And I love that you go into sharing. And I love that Reverend Jerry picked up on the idea that we could ask and know and feel that storm dissipating. And I got an email 45 seconds after we stopped praying saying, it's going down. Good work. So there.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome again. And folks, if you're just tuning in, this is Ministers Talking Shit for Friday, the 11th of October. We're live at Unity Village with the affiliated New Thought Network summer. Well, I think we used to call it the summer retreat. Now we just call it the retreat. A lot of people call it a lot of things, but or conference and no, good thing. But I want to touch in on something Reverend Kim said, and that is that phrase, "Be in the world, but not of the world." And in my 20 plus years of this philosophy and this movement, I've heard that phrase a lot, and I also hear a lot of people look back at me and say, "Well, how do I do that? Yeah, what does that really even mean?" So Kim, you brought it up. We're going to kick the mic back to you and let you get us started on this one. What does it really mean? How do we demonstrate that? How do we live being in the world but not of the world?
So it threw me in the beginning also. But I was very much Hurricane Kim in my early life. And so New Thought helped me. First of all, it gave me a practice. It gave me tools, which chilled me out, just chilled me out. And so it taught me that I don't have to have the world knock me around no matter what's happening, whether it was a relationship, a friendship, somebody I'm dating, something that's happened at work. My father talked to me a lot about that I need to come in stored up, fueled up, as the Baptists say, prayed up, and then I go in knowing who I am and what it is I bring to the table. So once I got there and I knew that I could have this inner calm no matter what is going on around me, I started having people say, "How can you be in this room with all this stuff going on and you're sitting there calmly?" With contentious conversations going on, there's a lot of noise, and I could sit and just watch people and be okay and not be pulled by anything that was said, no matter what side of the aisle it was on. And they're like, "Well, what's wrong with you?" Nothing's wrong with me. This is what I do. This is who I am. And people started to recognize that. So, and as I kept practicing prayer meditation, doing more reading, discovering who I am as an infinitely powerful divine being. That's what I affirm now. Then I know that I can stay in my inner calm because that peace is always here. It is me. It is me because that's God, and it's me. So I hold that, and I just let the world swirl around me, and I may go in and out of it. So I know, like I said, I was listening to the news. I know what's happening. I do have stuff going on in my world. I got pulpit ministry, so I got stuff going on all the time. Stuff people remarks. I got a board to deal with. There are decisions to make, and so I go there, and I know when I start to get rattled, then yes, I'm more in the world than I am feeling and embracing who I am as an infinitely powerful spiritual being. Knowing that I can stay there and all this, so I can be in the eye of the storm and all this stuff can swirl all around me and I don't have to be a part of it. I can watch it, I can see it, and I can be that peaceful presence. And I just keep doing that. And I know when I start to get rattled, when stuff gets, stuck in my craw, that means I probably have not been diligent about my prayer meditation. And I go right back to that. And that pulls me from the chaos of the world, but it doesn't take me out of it. I can sit and watch and be a part of it, but be a part of it as I choose to be a part of it, which is consciously peaceful. But it took years to cultivate because, I was definitely the hurricane.
If I may?
Yeah, sure.
I just love that. Yeah, knowing that we're prayed up, as it were. Yeah, and when we know truth, when we feel truth. I love that in Michael. It's a feeling universe, right? When we feel that peace, we feel that presence, we feel that awareness of infinite, boundless. That's the theme at ANTN this week. Boundless possibilities and potential, then the world becomes what we know it to be. And that's part of what I love about you being the island of peace, because then peace can happen. It can't if there isn't anyone being it, right? Right. And when people are all in their stuff, and that's kind of what the planet is saying. You're all in your stuff, and I'm just going to show it to you. So just allow the flow and dissipate the intensity in us, through us, and as us, so that this incredible place, this almost being. One of my jobs is I'm the research director for something called Gaia Living Systems Institute. And we're bringing that systems, cybernetics, environmental stuff, and the new thought consciousness into one spot. And when we get that the beingness of all that is being expressed in the planet as a whole, as well as in each and every one of us, and it is all one, and we feel it, we have the opportunity of becoming the heaven on earth. And then we don't have to be in the world, but not of it, because the world is us, right? And I know PJ has.
Well, I am a minister after all, so I have a thought or two. But one of the things that I want to share is that there's so much, but what I want to focus on right now is I know, not just believe, but I know for a fact is that each of us are here for a purpose and a reason. We have something to do. So part of being in the world, because we are human beings and we're on this planet, but not of the world. So we're not taking on what's going on with the world. What we're trying to do is take on what's ours to take on. What are we here to do? What is and I was talking with Kim this morning. I said, what's the baby Jesus thing that we're supposed to be doing? Because we're all like baby Jesuses. We have a purpose to be here. And so we're supposed to walk around and talk about what that is. And so for me, it's about talking about helping people find what their purpose is so they can be in the world, but not of the world. So what is yours to do? What mine is to do is to talk to you and everyone out there about what is your vision for your life, because whatever your vision for your life is about what your purpose is, and what people are here to are drawn to. Those who are looking for what it is you do, what it is you bring, that's what they're looking for. So it's important to me that all of us, that I talk about this, I share it with you, that I'm looking at you and going, what are you here for? What are you here for? So you don't have to worry about what anybody else is doing. It's what are you doing? What are you here for? What is it that is of your highest value? And one of the things that I talk about every year, that everybody in January talks about, what are my resolutions? Well, resolutions are dead by March at the latest. So it's not about resolutions. It's not about resolutions. It's about values. And so to me, it's something that I call a DRM. Your values, your top 5. You don't need to do anything more than 5. Your top 5 is your DRM, your daily roadmap. Meaning, how are you going to show up in the world as you? Well, how are you going to show up in the world as you if you don't know who you is? So you is whatever is your top value. And for me, it is always, number 1, my relationship with Spirit. Spirit is with me, talking to me, guiding you, if you're listening, to what is yours to do right now in this moment, whether it's the hurricane, whether it's what we're doing here at this conference, whether it's what I'm doing here on the panel. That's my number 1 thing. What are we doing today, Spirit? I wake up every morning. What are we doing? What are we doing today? Every second, what's mine to say? What's mine to do? And he told me to talk about this right now, because this is what you want to do. So the top value is my relationship with God. The second thing is courage, because it takes courage to show up as you. There's so many people that have opinions. We had a panel member here that's doing something wonderful for himself, and everybody's got an opinion about it. Everybody's got an opinion. It doesn't matter what their opinion is. It's what he wants to do. What his calling is, and those who need what he has will show up, and those who don't. That's okay. There's something else that you're supposed to be doing. So that's number 1, what my relationship with God. Number 2, the courage to do it. Number 3, I'm not gonna go through all of them, but unconditional love. There's no condition that you need to come up with that I'm going to love you. If we believe that we are one, then I already see the love in you. I already see you are love. You're showing up as love as you. So again, it's important for you not to be of the world, but to just be in it, but not of it. So you are yourself. Show up as you. You are worthy. And here I'm preaching now, but I'm telling you, this is what it is. You are worthy to be loved exactly as you are. So show up as that. That's it. Boom.
Oh, there we go. If we didn't have respect for the sound guy, we might drop the mic. Yes. We have respect for the equipment. Okay. We probably have just enough time left today to answer this next question, or at least dig into it, because you've really sparked in me. We have the power, both individually, to collapse the eye wall of a hurricane. We know we have the power collectively to collapse the eye wall of a hurricane. You ready, folks? Here it comes. How do we collapse the eye wall that is the appearance of political separation in our country today?
Love it.
We have a pretty big storm, and it's brewing, and from my perspective, it's barreling straight towards every inch of North America. And what I also know is those ripple effects will ripple out across the planet. How in the next 60, 50, 30, 45 days, whatever we got left, how do we collapse that energy of separation, that eye wall that appears to be red and blue in America right now?
So I love what you just said. How do we collapse what appears to be? That, to me, that's the thing. What appears to be. There is no separation. This is America. We get to do all the things. It's an ongoing experiment about how it works. So when things show up and we're like, oh my God, what is that? Well, that's another thing for us to examine and say, is this what we want? Each and every one of us has a vote. Each and every one of us has whatever it is we're supposed to do. If you feel like you want to sit at home and you don't want to get involved, well, then that's going to be reflected in what's going on in your neighborhood or your city or whatever it is. If you feel like, hey, I have a vote and I'm going to get out and vote the way I want to vote. And by the way, I have a vote. You have a vote. You have a vote. Use it or don't use it. That is your choice. Do what you want to do. If you want to go out and you want to tell people about how you feel or what you think this means, go ahead and do that. I can take it on or not take it on. That's what we get to do. And whatever shakes out, whatever goes in charge, we again are, it's not like they're the leader now, so we're just going to put it down and not do anything. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's the next thing we do. That's the next phase. That's the next way we get involved. So it doesn't matter what's happening. What is happening is happening. What we want to do is what we want to do. And the next thing is happening. We make a decision about that and do what's ours to do. We don't have to worry about it. It is what it is. This is America. We always have a choice.
So I stay in the all things are coming together for good camp. And so I don't see separation. And when I hear people talking separation, I stay in the all things are coming together for good camp. And that's what I'll say out loud. And I've had people come to me, a number of people, a lot of them will come to me and they'll say, and here they are talking separation. As a Black female, I know your life is hard and you always have discrimination. You're this and that. And I tell them, no, I don't. No, I don't, because I don't walk out of my house. I don't wake up as a Black female. I wake up as an infinitely powerful spiritual being. I step out of my house as that. So everywhere I go, I am welcomed. I am included. I expect that. I see that. And somebody got mad at me one day. She said, how do you ask for equity? I said, I assume equity when I walk in the room. And if something else happens, there are avenues for taking care of it. And so, but I assume I'm going to be treated well. I assume that I belong here when I walk in the room, or else I would not come in the room. But I assume when I go to the store, when I go anywhere, I assume I belong there. And so, and she didn't like that. In fact, she signed off the show. I was like, okay, don't like that. So I just stay in. Again, I have to stay quiet. I have to use my tools. I have to make sure that I see a world that is united because I'm holding a vision and I stay in that vision, even though I know shit's happening and people are divided in camps. I just think we're all here. We're all trying to learn something. We're all bumping into each other because we're we got this fight going on. We don't know who we are. We're afraid. There's a lot of fear going on, and people they think they got to protect this one and do that one. My pain's bigger than yours. I don't know. We're starting to compare that. What groups get more attention, and so I stay with oneness, and I just do that. And hopefully that's affecting people. And as we know, we can affect an eye wall, then we can affect this nation. And so these next, we probably got 27 days, I don't know, 20 days left before the election. We need to stay there and hold that. And even after the election, because the other 49% or whatever that doesn't win, doesn't quote unquote win, is going to have an attitude about that. And so we have to continue to hold the vision, even especially after the election, because then we have to move forward. And so I try to see us all as Americans, and we're all trying to get someplace. We all want good for everyone. I keep affirming that, even though not everybody's talking that way. And I have to live from there.
Well,
I just stay there.
The loudest aren't the ones representing everyone. You can go for it. So they're just talking loud. So it feels like they're the ones, but they're just talking loud.
All right. Whoa. And I love there is no separation. And I love that as we are that peace and that knowing, and assume that we are accepted wherever we are called to walk in. Right. And, I don't have the dark light skin issue, but I got other issues. Right? Right. And in fact, well, we won't go into that. But where I'm going is that separation that appears to be out there is reflecting any sense of separation going on in here. So the more I can, and this is Charles Fillmore, and again, Ernest Holmes in his own way, is more I can clear it up in here, the more I'm going to experience it out there as resolved. Resolved. That appearance dissolves as the hurricane wall dissolved as we knew the whole. The wholeness, the peace, the reality of beingness, right? And so whether it's politics, and it isn't just in this country, as a futurist, I'm tracking lots of places, and it's beginning to dissolve in many of those places. And in other places, they're just catching up with the idea of separation. Because, well, there's another level, another layer in each of us, right? Because we grew up in a culture that taught us we are isolated, separated individuals, and someone has to tell us where to go and what to do and how to be. And one of my dreams is that my grandchildren's grandchildren will never hear the phrase, "Who's in charge here?" I'll pass.
All right, who is in charge here? That's a great question. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. In the time that we have left, and just a handful of minutes here, number one, thank you. Thank each of you. I know you're on retreat, and we're here early, and right, the whole building is still kind of quiet. We're here so early in the morning for this group. So thank you for taking your time out of your day to be with us. For the two of you, Real Talk Sisters, again, Real Talk Sisters, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. If you've enjoyed any one word these women have said this morning, tune in on Tuesdays at 2. Before we go, and we've talked a lot about that here in this conference, what is your vision for humanity?
That's a big question, and it always to me comes down to individualized thinking, because humanity is a group of us, all of us as human beings. And so my hope is that we individually realize who we are, just who you are, not who people say you are, not what people say you should be, who you are, because you are here, as I said earlier, for a specific reason and a purpose. You know that. You've forgotten it because of all the hoopla that's going on. We forget that there's something within us, there's something within our hearts that's calling us. You don't know how to do it, but let me tell you, the how is not yours to know. The what, just say what. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. Spirit, get on it. Get on it and show me the steps. How am I going to do it? So that's what I think. That's what I'm looking for humanity to realize. You have something to do, not what somebody else is telling you to do, not to rabble rouse for somebody else's cause, for you to do what your humanness says, your humanity says, your God self says. Listen and ask and just claim it. Just say, yes, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for what I came to do. Show me the way.
So my vision is that we live in a peaceful world, and that comes from us having a deep cultivation of inner peace in our lives, and that we have, all of us, the 8 billion of us, have access to the tools, the resources that we need to do what we are called to do in this world. And that way we can heal ourselves, heal each other, heal the planet. And I see Mother Earth is thriving and growing. Nature is amazingly resilient, and we just need to back up off of her, stop abusing her, and let her do her thing. And I do believe also that Milton is a reflection of the collective consciousness. And so there's a whole lot of things that affect the world and what is going on in it. So Milton is more than just weather, more than just weather. And we don't know that. So my vision for the world is that we know who we are individually and collectively. And we can heal each other.
Amen, sisters, both of you. I'm right with you. And when the Mayans talk about the next world, right? We all heard the Mayans' calendar came to an end, and there was the ending of that world, which is the world we grew up in, the capitalist empire kind of culture. They say the new culture, the technology is going to be based on spirit, not on matter. And how we can be in full connection with the spirit of all that is in nature, in our bodies, in the all that is so much more than even this beloved, beautiful planet that we live on. So my vision is that we are living in harmony with the planet, with our personality and person self, and with the infinite all that is every moment of every day, as part of and expressing this love that is. And that's my vision.
Who? Wow. Well, there it is, folks. We've almost run out of time, but I want to say again, thank you to our panel, Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller, is there a doctor in there that I'm forgetting? Okay, Reverend Kim Andrews and Reverend Dr. PJ Stanley. I want to thank you for being with us today. To our studio audience, thank you very much for being here this morning and coming out early and giving us some people to talk to. To those of you online, thanks for being a part of the New Thought Media Network family. Stay tuned for all of our normal programming. Get Rich 101 with Sekou Wright starts in just about 5 or 10 minutes from now. Later at 8:15 Mountain Time, we've got our morning prayers. Rev Melissa with the morning sip at 8:30. 9 o'clock, Emma Moreno with Spanish language programming. 9:30, our Spanish language prayers. Later today at 1 o'clock, it's the Joy Show with Reverend Barbara Jean. We're going to take a hiatus from the good news this evening because all of our hosts are traveling and nobody's available. So we're going to skip the good news tonight. And yet to be determined on whether we're going to do fireside chat. So, but I guarantee somebody will be here for evening prayers. And of course, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., Saturday morning Science of Mind and Spirit Conversation Series. I have the pleasure of leading that discussion tomorrow. That's at 9 o'clock Mountain Time. So please plan to join us for that. If today's the day that you want to feel called to support the New Thought Media Network family financially, please head on over to our website, ntmedia.org. Click on the donate button, make it a monthly donation. We'll be sure to include you in our next thank you video. Until next time, we want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.